In this video, I would like to talk with you about this checklist for leaders. Now, I designed this checklist for you to fill out. What you can see right here is first of all a question, and then to the left of it, we have a yes or a no column. Now, for instance, I have the question, do I know how to lead other people without hurting their aspirations in life? And I personally now will think about the question, and afterwards then I will tick one of these boxes over here. So yes or no. And what I want to do with you right now is I just want to read out these questions and I want to clarify what these questions mean. Then what I want you to do afterwards is I want you to download this checklist. In order to do so, just go to the left top corner and click on download. And afterwards, I want you to fill out this checklist for leaders. So to just take a pen and tick right here over to the left, yes or no. And of course, in the end, we want that all of the boxes over here on the side of yes are ticked and that there's no box over here to the right which basically says no is ticked. So let's start with the first question. The first question is, do I know how to lead other people without hurting their aspirations in life? Now, what you're going to learn here in this course is that you don't want to hold other people back in the sense that you only think about yourself. In a job environment, you should always give the opportunity for people to do more than they're employed to do, to take the next step and to break boundaries. You want to help people to get to the next step in their career, and you want to offer these opportunities to them while they are working. Now, we're going to clarify what that means and how to implement it in the real world later on here in this course. But the first question should, of course, be answered with yes, no. You're not holding other people back. Yes, you're helping them to succeed. No, you're not standing in their way and you don't give them any great opportunities. Yes, you give them great opportunities and you help them to be their better self. Then afterwards, question number 2. Do I know how to follow and execute orders? Now, for instance, when you become, let's say, a senior manager, or when you just, let's say, take the next step in your company, you might still have someone over you. So someone who is like senior executive or CEO or CTO or whoever, and this person might give you orders. And sometimes it is quite difficult for people to accept that they cannot make their own rules, that they have to accept orders and have to follow and execute these orders. Especially it becomes difficult in the field of human resources. For instance, if you like one person quite a lot in the company and you think, all right, this person's doing a great job, but then there comes the order, you have to fire that person or you have to lay that person off because there might be a problem, let's say, in terms of finance, or there might be a problem just in terms of skill sets, and you have to go to that person and tell the person, all right, I always talk to you in a nice way. I always told you that I think you're going to have an amazing career in our company, but today, right now, I have to lay you off. And that is quite a difficult decision that most people have to make, especially now from the perspective of the person above you. But for you, it should be quite unemotionally. You have to follow and you have to execute orders and not make your own orders. And then question number 3, do I have the capabilities to manage people and put them to work? Now, of course, in any kind of working environment, you want people to take the next step, to fulfill tasks, and you don't want them to procrastinate. Now, whether you're managing your own company or you have other people that employ you in order to be the leader for a certain amount of people, you need to get people to work. I mean, without work, there is no progress. And if you want to make progress, you have to motivate people, you have to manage people, you have to get them to work. Now, sometimes this sounds a little bit drastic, but in the end, it is the first step to building a great business. It's the first step to actually becoming happy in the sense that you create an output which satisfies you, which satisfies the person above you, and also, of course, which satisfies the person that is working on it. Now, there are actually statistics, or not necessarily statistics, but let's say research being done on work. And most employees are happier when they get something done than they are just sitting all day long in an office doing nothing. Then question number 4, can I handle criticism well and even demand it? Now, as a leader, it could become, to a certain degree, quite frustrating to get criticism, because you try your best, you always try to be the best, your best self, but then people come to you and they give you criticism. And the problem with that is often that the leaders cannot accept criticism because they think they are in the position that the other people are not in, basically in a higher position, and that's why they are more right than the people below them. And actually, I think this is the complete opposite. The complete opposite of it is true. You always have to think that you are not right, that you have a vision, but you of course want to listen to people and you want to take their criticism and improve. Then question number 5, do I learn from my mistakes and constantly try to improve myself? This is something that I already talked with you about. I think personally that criticism can of course be quite hurtful, and it should not be hurtful, because good criticism is constructive criticism that helps to get the company forward. But if, for instance, people just tell you, you're an idiot, I don't like you, that is not good criticism, and in most cases, of course, people are not gonna give you such criticism because they are perhaps afraid of you laying them off. But constructive criticism must be heard, and you of course also need to consider that criticism and improve what you think you need to improve. And then of course, have I thought about which kind of leader I am? Now in this course, we're going to talk about different kinds of leaders. For instance, are you a totalitarian leader? Are you, for instance, a coaching leader? Are you a person that perhaps is, basically a dictator? Are you dictating culture? What exactly is your kind of leadership style? And then, of course, the question, am I not afraid to put in a lot of work, even if it means that I won't get anything out of it personally? Now, when you, for instance, look at leaders in companies, they most of the time work more than the people below them. And sometimes you might ask, all right, why are they working so much? For instance, right now, I own 8 different businesses, and I put in at least, let's say, 16 hours per day. And for me personally, I often don't get a lot out of it. Now, of course, I make my money, but on a daily basis, I don't get a lot out of it. So, for instance, when I put in another 4 hours of work, try to, satisfy everyone in the sense that I help them to take the next step. And they're like, oh, great, but they don't really thank me. They don't really give me anything back that I can use. That can be quite frustrating. But a leader has to put in more work. The leader has to manage the company, has to improve the company. And the improvement is something that is basically a potential. It's not there yet. You have to improve in the future, not necessarily right now. You try to improve right now, but the actual results will come in the future. And that's why a lot of leaders could become quite frustrated very early on, because they put in a lot of work, they try to improve, but they don't see the results yet. So don't worry about it, the results will come. And then, of course, the question, am I empathetic? Now, in this course, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence and how you can become more empathetic. But I want you to ask yourself the question right now, am I an empathetic person? Am I a person that can read other people and that can help other people to manage their feelings correctly? Can I read other people's feelings? Can I manage their feelings? Can I help them to, become their better self, also in terms of feelings? And then, do other people consider me as trustworthy? Also quite an important question, because if other people don't consider you as trustworthy, you have to think about your actions. What made you not trustworthy? You cannot naturally not be trustworthy. You can be trustworthy if you make the right decisions, and you cannot be trustworthy if you don't make the right decisions. And then the question, can I keep secrets? And you might think right now, but you shouldn't have any secrets in front of your employees. But I think you should to a certain degree, because sometimes people don't necessarily need to know everything. And sometimes also, of course, they should not know anything. For instance, if there is, let's say, a decision in the senior executive, let's say, area, these people all the way at the top of the company, and they're talking with you about who is doing a good job or who is not doing a good job. And you're basically putting people in a list and you say, all right, this person is doing a good job. These people are not doing a good job. This person is above this one. This could actually be helpful in order to measure, all right, which person does the most work. But if you reveal something like that, of course, that is not a good thing. People should never know that you put them, for instance, in some kind of ranking, that you say, all right, this person did the most this month. This person, did the greatest job. You should always, 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 always keep the things secret that could hurt the community or could hurt the company in general. And then can I lie without blushing if it is necessary? And this is a very controversial topic. And I know that many of you will probably not agree with me, which is totally fine. But I personally think that a little bit of lying in certain situations might actually help the company to strive. For instance, if it's a very bad economic situation and it looks very, let's say, it looks very bad for the company. The company is not, let's say, it's very unlikely that the company is going to survive. But there is this little chance. There is this little bit of hope. Now, what should you do? Should you say, all right, the likelihood that we are going to fail is 98%? Or should you say, all right, let's go, let's keep doing it, let's keep working. I think we're going to make it through. I think to a certain degree then we are lying, which is, lying in general is a bad thing, I think. But in this case now, we are actually helping the community. We are helping the company to strive. And that's why I think a little bit of lying is not a bad thing. And that's why I wanted to ask you the question, can you lie without blushing if it is necessary? And then the question, can you establish rules and execute on them? Now, if you don't have to follow orders by other people, you have to set up your own rules. And as soon as you set these rules, you have to execute on them. If you don't execute, the rules are worth nothing. So make sure that when you establish rules, that you actually execute on them, that people know the guidelines and people know exactly what they can do or cannot do. And then, are you not emotionally unstable? You have to be emotionally stable when you lead a company. It is very difficult for employees to trust a person or to follow a person that is not emotionally stable. So make sure that you're emotionally stable, that you know what you're doing, and that you're not, crying as soon as the situation goes bad, that you're not crying when you have to lay off a person. Be in your approach a little bit less emotional. Try to see everything from a very objective basis. Now, objectivity can also hurt to a certain degree. Sometimes you know that there is something in the air, some kind of spirit, some kind of hope, and you might execute just on that intuition. Intuition is not a bad thing. For instance, Warren Buffett said he probably became that rich because of his intuition. But on the other hand, you also have to be quite objective. Be objective in your approach and always try to make sure that you follow the rules that you established. And then, of course, have you proven experience as a leader? This is now the last question of this checklist. Now, you can only answer this question if you already have experience right now or after this course, let's say a couple of months after, when you tried all of the methods that I'm going to reveal to you now here in this masterclass. I want you to just simply download this checklist, and when you download it, print it out, and afterwards then tick these boxes over here, yes and no. Again, I repeat, it is the best if you have all your ticks or all the check marks right here to the left in yes, because you want to be a person that, of course, is a leader and that can follow all of these principles and can say yes to all of these questions. So alright, that was it now here for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we are gonna see each other in the next one.